A big thing that I saw, Michelle, was the fact that when it comes to your pre-swing, which is grip, aim, and setup, I like how your posture is really good, everything's good. The only thing that I see is your alignment. We're trying to go at this line here, going straight out to that white pole out there, and our feet are aimed on that line going across. So we were actually hitting the ball out there, you were hitting it where you were aimed. So it wasn't that bad. A couple of them you came up and out of it, like this shot here. Yeah. You hit quite a bit right of the target. But overall, that's what's causing your inconsistency, because in order to get it back to the target, we're going to have to make a compensating move coming across, pretty much over the top swing, so across the line going right to left to try to get it back to the target.
Okay.
So that's going to cause more of a pull slice, and your compensation is going to be inconsistency. So I always say you got to have your foundation first. So if you get proper grip, your grip looks pretty good. We may want to strengthen it a little bit, but overall I think it's fine. Your posture looks great. The only thing that I see is that your alignment is too far to the right. So to figure that out so you're aimed correctly every time, what we really got to do is we got to pick out a spot in front of the ball and then almost open up keep your feet together and aim a little bit left of what you think, because it's like railroad tracks going to your target. We want to see your club face aimed at the target. That's what causes where the ball goes is the face angle, and then your feet line need to be parallel left. It's like railroad tracks going to the target line.
Okay.
So the fact is our feet are aimed way right, so maybe our club head actually wasn't too bad, but it was still right of the target. But you're going to have to close that club face. Well, what's that going to cause? More of a draw. Yeah. So ideally we wanted to get our club head, our club face aimed at the target first, to that intermediate target, that spot in front of the ball, right in here. And then we set our feet parallel left, and then we take our stance, and we should be good. Now you don't have to compensate. You just make a good swing back and through, just pivoting motion. So let's just see how we pivot. Okay, that's a great takeaway. Nice extension. See the triangle here with your arms?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good move right there at the top. A little bit of knee bend. You can tell your weight's still kind of forward because your knee's out there a little bit too far. This is what the move that kind of plagues you, I think, is you come down a little bit and then you come more up at impact. So you come a little bit steep and across it. And you can see that you're what we call early release or casting, and that's where you lose that angle. So I'm going to give you a couple really good drills to keep that angle. You're good right here, and then right after this point, see how you cast?
Yes. So
you lose that angle. You have to come up, otherwise we hit shot. We hit before the ball. We make contact with the ground before the ball, and now it has to be a flip motion. And so in this case, you were a little late, so the ball went off a little bit more to the right. Since we were aimed to the right, it caused us to go way far to the right of our target, and then we're going to have a hard time getting up and down. So what we want to do is we want to be a lot more consistent with our aim, so our foundation, our aim first, and then we build on that aim, and we work on that pivot move. And from the top of the backswing, we're going to try to keep that angle between your left arm and the shaft a little bit longer and more of a turning motion with your trunk, because you're good here and then we lose that angle and you have to come up, and so it's just a flip motion, just hands. Now this is why I teach you a video, because what you felt, you didn't feel like you were doing those things, right?
That was my first swing. I think I did feel that one.
Yeah, because you just weren't warm as much as you were the other swings. But that's your tendency. And
yes, it is.
So your tendency is to not rotate as much with our trunk, and you lose the sequence. What we call it, you got to have your hips release. It really starts with from the ground up. Your feet, then it's your hips, and then your trunk, and then the hands are the last thing to come through the ball. And that's that torque that we create. Then we have the shaft angle is going to be leaning, so you're going to create a nice trajectory, and you're going to hit it more like the pros are doing. So what we got to do is we got to start with the foundation first, and then build on that with the pivot. Just to recap, what we worked with Michelle on is keeping the angle between the shaft and his forearm. So on the downswing, he was coming a little steep, coming across the line, and losing that angle. So it's called early release. more casting. And so he would come and he would have to rise up with his upper body to compensate for that move. Otherwise he would make contact with the ground before the ball. So a good drill to work on keeping that angle and feeling what the left hand should feel through impact and still working on that pivot move is you get to the top and then you turn through with your trunk, feeling that pull of your lat. So your left lat muscle in the back. So feel that pull, you keep that angle, and that's where we want to be. We want to have more of that angle through, feeling that merry-go-round motion, okay, turning of the trunk, and then you're going to be a lot more successful. That shaft is going to lean at impact. Our weight's going to transfer. Again, I always say it starts from the ground up. We've got to work on our footwork. So on the downswing, we feel that push into that left side and just turn. And everything stays connected. Michelle was coming through and it was more of a just arm swing, kind of breaking down. His left elbow would come out, and then it was all timing with his hands. So if you want to be a really good player, you got to be able to control here with your trunk and with your hips, have that sequence in the right sequence with your body, and everything else will fall into place and you'll make a lot better contact, and then you'll also square the club face more to your target. This is what the ball flight will look like.